Good morning, tribe. It's Elisa James from the Find Your Voice Aspiring Speakers Club. I'm here popping into the group today to do a live training. Now, the reason is actually this. When I'm posting videos on my YouTube channel every single week, I do that. It's called the Voice of Confidence TV. What I listen and learn from are all the comments that people put below my videos. And one of the things that people were really commenting on lately over the last few weeks is breathing issues and health issues that are affecting their voice. Now, this is something that I've been dealing with for a long time, and I have lots of experience on, unfortunately. Let me give you a little background. If you don't know me, I'm a holistic voice and presentation coach. I wasn't always a coach, though. I was actually a performer by trade. That's all I ever wanted to do when I was a kid. I wanted to sing and dance and act and be with Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire and all those MGM musicals singing in the rain, you know, all that sort of fabulous stuff. So that was my dream, and that's what I made come true. But my body felt like it was against me the entire time that I had my 35-year career, because I had so many health issues, and it led me down a completely different path, which I'm at today. Thankfully, isn't it amazing sometimes when the universe tells you maybe you're going the wrong way, maybe you should go this way, and it sort of guides you somewhere because of something that seemingly horrible at the time takes you on a curveball or throws you a curveball. That's exactly what happened to me. So I was singing and dancing and acting for about 35 years, but having so much trouble with my body, my mind, my health, and I was completely exhausted. So the things that were bothering me were allergy, hay fever, sinus. Then because they were all affecting my voice, I started having voice problems from the tension and getting so worried about my body. That stress and strain over time exhausted my my adrenal system. And then that suffered, and my mindset and my body and everything sort of went downhill. That led to panic attacks and all sorts of other horrible stuff. So I had to stop, reset everything and think, okay, how can I solve first my health issues so I can actually feel better, feel less miserable, have more energy, and be able to serve people and perform at a much higher level? That's what led me to my study. So the very first study that I did is Clayton College in America. I can't remember where it was based, but it was an online course at the time. It was my Bachelor of Holistic Nutrition in Health. So that was my very first degree. I learned so much with that. I cured nearly every single health issue I had. It was incredible. I then went on, I was so enamored by study and training that I went on to do another 2 master's degree after that, one in health and one in voice. So now when I teach from a very different perspective. I teach and sing and act and perform from a very different perspective. And that's why I call myself a holistic voice coach. So let's dive in today to some live training. Now, remember the way that StreamYard works. I don't know if you've seen StreamYard before, but I do go live at least twice a week with StreamYard. If you've seen this, underneath the comments in this video inside my private group, Find Your Voice Aspiring Speakers Club, you'll see that you can just leave a comment as normal in a normal video. But the difference with StreamYard is that I can actually see it. Even though I'm not on Facebook right now, I'm on StreamYard. So if you type in a question or a comment underneath this live video, I will see it come up on my screen. So if it's a comment that really needs a solution, or you would like me to talk about a question that you have, please type it in the comments below and it'll come up on my screen, and I can share it for everybody in this screen. Now, if you prefer to remain anonymous, you can always just PM message me later and I can answer it in the comments or on a private message. But this is for the benefit of everybody, so it's much better if everyone is open and honest and shares underneath this video. Okay, so here is what we're doing today. How to solve breathing issues naturally and fix a nasal voice. Breathing issues don't only affect your voice in a nasal way, of course, it actually affects your voice box and the way that you're making sound as well. So there's a twofold sort of situation that we're looking at here. So let's look first at what sort of issues really affect the voice in a negative way. Number one is going to be allergies. Now, the reason that allergies affect the voice, you'd think that allergies mostly take place up here, right in the nasal cavity, and where our eyes are streaming, and then we start to feel miserable. Believe me, I had allergies for most of my life until I was in my 30s, and I had figured all this health stuff out. And I was so miserable. Couldn't breathe. I had runny nose, blocked nose. It was just an absolute nightmare. But when I really identified what was making me sick and what I was allergic to, I could really minimize those allergies. Now, the issue that we have with voice is that when your histamines are going crazy, this is the little enzyme in our body that when we have something that we're allergic to, say pollen, comes into our body creates histamines, which then release a whole bunch of mucus, and the mucus flush that element that we're allergic to out of our body. Okay, so I breathe in something or eat something that I'm allergic to, my body creates more histamines, which creates more mucus, which floods that thing out of the body. So the dirt, the fungus, the bacteria, whatever it is that your body doesn't like, it can flush it out on a tidal wave of mucus. Now, you know, if you've ever had a cold or a flu or hay fever, how miserable you can be with all that mucus. Now, with me, it was always blocked and runny and blocked, and it was, how do you even deal with that? So my voice was really suffering from this because I had all this postnasal drip and lots of mucus around my vocal folds. Now, what do we do? Of course, somebody would say, oh, easy, just take an antihistamine. And believe me, I've met people who think like this. I live with a cat, I'm allergic to cats, I'm just going to take an antihistamine every day. What are you doing to your body? If you're allergic to cats, you need to change something in the cat's food so you're not allergic to that protein crystal, which is, you can research it on your own. It's a really good thing to know. But you need to stop letting your body be attacked by things that you're allergic to. You need to give your body a break. So the things that affect us here, yes, an antihistamine can take care of that temporarily. It's like putting a Band-Aid on it, but it affects your voice in the following way. When you take an antihistamine, the antihistamine is designed to dry up all that mucus that the histamine has made you create. So your body's creating all this mucus. The pill stops you from creating the mucus, but your body doesn't still get rid of the allergy, and it still doesn't get rid of that foreign thing that's inside you. And so you're just putting a Band-Aid on it, and it dries up the mucosal lining in your voice box as well, which makes you more croaky, makes you want to clear your throat constantly. It makes you feel very dry, and you can sometimes even lose your voice. Unfortunately, Sudafed, Telfast, all those antihistamines and the things that are designed to dry up mucus, they can really affect your voice in a negative way. So if you've got any experience with antihistamines and it has affected your voice and made you croaky, please look at your need to take them on a regular basis. Now, if you do take them on a regular basis, and you have to for your health and your sanity, which I completely understand, this is what you're going to do as well. You're going to put hot water into your steamer. Now, you don't have to have a personalized steamer like I have. I love my steamer. This is Stanley's steamer. He comes with me everywhere. Whenever I'm on tour, especially on tour, on a cruise ship, in hotel rooms, in theaters across the country, I take this steamer with me everywhere. The whole cast and crew does. We put our hot water into here, and then you put the cap on, and you simply, if it's a nose breathing issue, put your nose in the hole. If it's a mouth breathing issue, which I'll go into next, then you're only going to put your mouth in the hole. The steam comes up, and then you can just breathe pure steam into your face or into your sinus cavities, wherever you need the help. Now, with sinus and hay fever and allergies, I highly recommend that you don't put anything in here. You don't want to burn oil down your sinus cavities or down your throat. You can, with a nose issue, use a tiny bit of oil if you want to, but I do not recommend that for breathing through your mouth because those little oil droplets can come up with the steam and burn your vocal folds. Super important if you are trying to steam your voice that you only have water. If you're trying to steam and breathe better into your nasal cavity, then maybe a tiny bit of eucalyptus or something will help, but be very careful to close your mouth. You need all those beautiful air filtration fibers in your nose to filtrate that oil through before you breathe it through your vocal folds and into your windpipe. Because remember, whenever we breathe anything, it goes through the vocal folds and straight into the windpipe. So that's why sucking lozenges doesn't work, because you can't suck a lozenge into your windpipe and past your vocal folds. You would die. Like literally, you would literally die because you would choke. So this helps stop the drying up of the vocal fold lining if you're taking an antihistamine or something like Sudafed. This will really, really, really help. Now, it also helps people who have a dry, sore throat. For instance, if you live and work in an office with a very dry environment, with lots of people do that with air conditioning around the world, highly recommend that you steam a couple of times a day, especially if you talk a lot for your job. You have to take care of your voice. Your voice, let's face it, is your best asset in business. Without your voice and your communication skills, you probably won't have a job for very long. It's very difficult to have a full-time job and do a really good job with no voice. Believe me, I've tried. It's not fun. So the next one is, so we went over a little bit of nose issues. Now, there is also, and I don't recall where I put it because I have been using it, there is a fantastic nasal spray that I want to tell you about. Nasal sprays are important because when people are taking nasal spray, they can really get into a lot of trouble over time if it's medicated. Nasal sprays work for a short period of time when they're medicated. And if you read the bottle, you will be completely surprised that the nasal spray says only take for 3 days. 3 days. Now, I wasn't very good at reading instructions when I was younger, and I would take those sprays desperate to breathe, desperate to be able to sing and perform a lot like that all the time. It was embarrassing. So I would take the nasal spray to breathe, but I didn't realize that after 3 days, it has a rebound effect and makes you 100 times worse. It absolutely makes you 100 times worse. And then you're even more miserable if you can even imagine that. Believe me, I've been through all of this myself and wanted to die many, many times because I was so miserable. No joke. It was that bad for a long, long time. Now, so what I take these days is not those medicated nasal sprays. I take a natural nasal spray. If I'm desperate and I can only get one from Australia, I will get the saline solution, just saline solution. But there's a really good one, which I'll add to the chat scroll here now. It's called XLEAR, like that, and I'll show you. You can get it from vitacost.com or iherb.com. If you want me to write those in the chat later, just let me know and I can write them in the chat. But that particular product, XLEAR, has grapefruit seed extract, xylitol to sweeten it because grapefruit seed is very bitter, and then also saline solution. Now, you cannot get this in Australia. So I was living in America for a long time, so I know about all these products that work. This particular product is absolutely brilliant. Oh my goodness, it made such a difference to my breathing and my health because I have had a deviated septum all my life. And if you have too, which many of my clients have, then you really can struggle with breathing a lot. But it's also very prevalent, the deviated septum, in people who also have asthma, allergies, hay fever. I don't know why, but it seems to be some sort of marriage. And a lot of my clients who suffer from this blocked up nose or breathing issues have also had adenoids in their nose or polyps in their nose and their tonsils removed. So it's telling you that there's something around this area, this respiratory system, upper respiratory system area that is really weak, and there's things that need to be brought to attention. So when you're using XLEAR, it does two things. First of all, the grapefruit seed extract kills all the bacteria in your nose if you're going into a sinus infection or if it's going into a bacterial or viral infection that's making you sick. Now, you need to get some medicated sort of stuff in there as fast as you can, and grapefruit seed extract is antiviral, antifungal, and antibacterial, and it works a treat. And it does not harm your immune system. It strengthens your immune system while killing the bacteria naturally. Now, the second thing it does is helps flush out all of the bacteria and the unwanted mucus. It really does. So between this XLEAR nasal spray and the steamer, you'll be well on your way to be able to breathe and smell the roses again. Believe me, it makes a huge difference. Now, regarding the nose as well, one more thing that I highly recommend, and again, if you need me to write this underneath the chat, I will write that for you, no problem at all. This is a really, really good product. It's called Serapeptase. Now, please note that I am not a doctor. Yes, I have degrees in nutrition and holistic health, but I'm not a doctor and I can't prescribe anything for you. I'm just sharing with you what works for me. Now, before I bought this product and I was researching things to help me naturally with sinus, bromelain I used to use, this is far superior. So when I typed in Serapeptase and I looked at all the reviews online on Vitacost and iHerb, there were literally hundreds of reviews of people saying, oh my God, my life is so different. Everything is so much better. I can breathe. I have space in my breathing cavity. I can speak properly. I have less mucus. So it really solved a lot of problems for people. So I hope that product might help you too. I take it when I have the slightest inclination that I might be getting sinus infection or a pressure headache. I start taking the Serapeptase again on a regular basis, multiple times a day, and then it's gone within 24 hours, like literally. And before, for decades, I would get such bad sinus that I'd be in bed for up to 6 weeks. And sometimes doctors, and believe me, I've been to doctors all over the world. I traveled the world for more than 30 years for my career. I've been to every doctor and they would give me another drug and another drug and another drug and nothing would work. But this works really fast and it's all natural. It's just an enzyme that breaks down that webbing that we have across our sinuses that captures a lot of mucus and bacteria. And it really helps break that down and then we can release the mucus. It's absolutely brilliant. So let's move on and talk very quickly about the throat. So we talked, oh, I missed number 3. That's okay. I have no number 3. 3 is gone. Number 4 is throat. Now, the way that people can really suffer from throat issues because of allergy, asthma, hay fever is usually a couple of things. The postnasal drip will really aggravate your vocal folds because it'll come down the back and it'll interfere with the phonation process because we have 2 pipes. If you imagine if I'm facing this way, we have the front pipe here, which is the windpipe. That's where the vocal folds are and the trachea. And right behind that, we have the esophagus. Now, because we've got these 2 pipes and the middle junction, of course, is the voice box attached to the top of the windpipe, everything that goes around that area, it's so close, it can really affect the vocal folds and the breathing as well as the esophagus, the food tube. So everything that you swallow, everything that you take medically is going to affect your entire system. So please take that into consideration. So if you're feeling that you have lots of mucus, you have maybe acid reflux, or you have something that's affecting your throat like a thyroid issue, then this is going to be your best friend as well as some exercises. If you need rehabilitation exercises for a thyroid issue, make sure you PM me because I have a really nice little routine that I guide all of my private clients through. If you need help with voice rehabilitation, please PM me after this video. I help people with this a lot. So Stanley Steamer, your favorite best friend for sinus, the Serapeptase, and then the natural spray for your nasal cavities will really help with all of these issues. So these are most of the natural remedies that I use. If you have any questions around this, please pop it in the chat below because I'd love to help you and support you on your journey. Now, the very last thing is I do live videos every single Tuesday, and about midnight I release them in between Tuesday and Wednesday on my YouTube channel called The Voice of Confidence TV. Now, every single week I have a brand new episode, and this week's episode was all about that breathing stuff that I just went through with you. So you can comment here underneath the video, or if you're doing a replay, please put hashtag replay so I can see your question. And then if you want to go to YouTube, there are so many free training videos there. I have about 25 episodes of The Voice of Confidence TV now, and the YouTube channel is growing fast. So please make your way over to YouTube whenever you're looking for an issue that needs to be solved. Type in The Voice of Confidence TV. Now, one last thing, and I will put it in the chat underneath this video. This morning, I'll pop in live a little bit, in a little bit as well. In about an hour's time at 10 o'clock, it's almost an hour away, 10 o'clock Sydney time, so it's 9 o'clock Brisbane and Queensland time, we are having our masterclass, The Voice of a Leader, how to speak and sound like a leader in business and to influence others. If you want to be on that free 90-minute training, then make sure that you grab the link below and it goes straight to Eventbrite, and grab your ticket before it's too late, because the doors will be closing soon. We have to put everybody in that Zoom room and get ready to go live at 10 a.m. for the training. So hope to see you there. If you have any questions, pop them underneath, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.